What's going on, guys? Krusty K's here from the Gold Boys Network, coming to the MLB slate preview for August 12th. Before we hop into it, I remind everybody you can get all these odds at FanDuel Sportsbook. Let's not waste any more time. We got a pretty loaded slate on our hands here. The first one, the Cubs take on the Guardians. Shota Imanaga versus Ben Lively. It's going to be the Guardians here for me. Shota's been really good, don't get me wrong, but this is just a tough assignment here. We talk about this Guardians team all the time. Really good at putting the ball in play. Shota, in my opinion, more susceptible to some struggles on the road. And I think Ben Lively here, I mean, he hasn't been great, but he gets a Cubs team that's really not hitting right now. Particularly when they go away from Wrigley, they've really struggled. And this just feels like a spot that he can take advantage of. So I'm going to be on the Guardians here on the money line. Our next one, the St. Louis Cardinals taking on the Cincinnati Reds. Sonny Gray versus Andrew Abbott. It's going to be the over here for me. I mean, I'm a big Sonny Gray guy. I do think the Cardinals can win this game, but his home road splits are just too drastic for me to ignore, truthfully. And a lot of times I like to think that those aren't like super valid, but he's had this kind of throughout his career. Even when he was with Minnesota, he was much better at home than he was on the road. Kind of carried over here with his time in St. Louis. Really, really good at home, not so great on the road. If you want to play his strikeouts, I think his strikeouts are definitely still in play here. This Reds team's are pretty bad. Excuse me. But in terms of where I'm going in this game, I like the over 8.5. I think Abbott gets touched up. This Cardinals team's swinging it pretty well. And I think that the Reds can get to Sonny Gray enough to get us over this total. Our next one, the Houston Astros taking on Tampa Bay Rays. Framber Valdez versus Taj Bradley. I mean, it's got to be the Astros here for me. Framber Valdez, I mean, he's coming off a almost no-hitter, 8 2/3 no-hit. Give up a bomb to Corey Seager to ruin it. But this just feels like a good spot for him to pitch well again. I mean, you get a Tampa Bay team who we just talked about. The bats just really aren't there. This lineup's pretty watered down. And ultimately, it just feels like a lineup that, you know, I don't think they could take advantage of the spot. So, Taj Bradley, I do think he pitches relatively well against the Astros. I'm not going to take that away from him. I think this thing does go under. But I like the Astros on my line here to get this win. Our next one, this is the Monday Night Baseball. Texas Rangers take on the Boston Red Sox. Tyler Mahle versus Brian Bayo. Mahle came back first start of the season against the Astros, his last start. Didn't look terrible, didn't look great. Looked pretty much how I expected. A little bit of rust, definitely. Velo not all the way back just yet. This is just a tough task for him. I'm going with Boston here on the money line. Going into Fenway, tough place to pitch. And, I mean, this Boston team crushing righties, you know, over the last 30 days. They got shut down pretty good today against the Astros, against Hunter Brown. But Hunter Brown's been exceptional. So, not really surprised by that. This just feels like a spot where they can kind of wake them back up here. You know, like I said, primetime game, ESPN, like Boston to get the bats going. I think Bayo can keep this Rangers lineup in check. I will be on the Red Sox on the money line here. Our next one, the Kansas City Royals taking on the Minnesota Twins. Brady Singer versus Pablo Lopez. For me here, it's going to be really simple. It's just the no runs in the first inning, the nerfy. I want to get in, I want to get out. I think these guys can give us the 6 quick outs we need. Don't love either side, truthfully. It's tough for me to back Pablo Lopez, as he's just been a guy who's been really inconsistent, in my opinion, this season. He's been better in the second half, definitely, but just not a guy I'm willing to put my money on at a minus 160. And Brady Singer, I mean, he's been good. Like, let's not take that away from him. But again, I mean, this is a tough matchup. You get a Twins team who's crushing righties. We all know that. A lot of zone contact. Going to put a lot of balls in play, most likely. Game just kind of feels like more of a coin flip to me than a minus 160 money line for the Twins. And for that reason, I just don't love either side. I mean, if you want to go from like a value standpoint, I think the Royals are the play. But I couldn't get there personally. So I'm just going to go with the no runs in the first inning and, you know, get a quick cash and get out of there.
Wait. Before we get back to the picks, I wanted to thank you all for watching. Friends don't let friends watch videos without hitting the like button. So go ahead and press the thumbs up button and like the video. If you're new here and not subscribed, you should go ahead and do so because we're dropping new content each and every day on the Gold Boys Network. We strive to cover every sport and give out picks and analysis and valuable information for free on the Gold Boys Network. So make sure you're subscribed and hit the bell so you can get notified when we drop something new. I'm Brad Thomas. Let's get back to the picks.
Our next one, the Los Angeles Dodgers taking Milwaukee Brewers. This is Clayton Kershaw versus Freddie Peralta. I'm going to be on the under here. I like the under 8.5. I think Kershaw, I mean, he hasn't been great. Don't get me wrong. I'm not going to sit here and say he's been good. I think he can have some success here. This is a Milwaukee team, against lefties especially, been super inconsistent this season, putting the ball in play and scoring. So Kershaw, while he hasn't been great, this feels like a spot where, like, awkwardly enough, he could probably give us, 5 innings of, 1-run ball. On the flip side, Freddie Peralta at home, just a guy I love to back. Think he handles this Dodgers lineup pretty well. I like the under 8.5. Like I said, I think it's low scoring. I think both pitchers do pitch well. If you wanted to run like a nerfy, I think you could definitely look at it here. But ultimately, like the under in the game. Our next one, the Yankees taking on the White Sox. This is Yankees have yet to announce a starter going up against Kai Busch. I mean, really tough get here at the Yankees at minus 290. Obviously, it's against the White Sox, so I mean, it's not like we're surprised or anything. But I can't get there at a price like that. I like the Yankees team total over. I think it's the best way to attack it. They're going to put up runs. Kai Busch is the guy making a second start of his MLB career. And, I mean, the stuff isn't great. Low velo fastball around like low 90s. Nothing special. Really struggled with his command in his first start. And when he got behind the count, he really just didn't seem to have the stuff to recover. And that's obviously like growing pains. But just a really tough spot, in my opinion. You're going to see a Yankees team who sees a ton of pitches. We all know that. And right now, they're doing a lot of damage. So I think Kai Busch really struggles. I wouldn't be surprised if Judge goes yard here. This is just a great spot for the Yankees, in my opinion. Take their bats, take the team total over. I think their team total soars over. The Toronto Blue Jays taking on Los Angeles Angels. Bowden Francis versus Davis Daniel. This is a pretty gross pitching matchup here. Really tough one in my opinion. Probably my least favorite game of the slate. I like the over, but I hate. These are two teams that I hate backing the offenses. I talk about this all the time. The Jays could be scorching hot at the plate. The second I back their offense, they will not score. I don't know what it is. Take today, for example. I liked them against JP Sears. What did JP Sears do? Shut him down. Okay, go look at it. It was actually pretty remarkable. For whatever reason, this team does not score when I want them to. So I do like the over here, the over 8.5. I do think it comes in. But, man, it's my least favorite game of the slate. If you're going to skip one, skip this one. Our next one, the Colorado Rockies taking on the Arizona Diamondbacks. Cal Quantrill versus Brandon Pfaadt. It's the D-backs for me here, really simple. You get Rockies leaving Coors. One of those things where the bats always seem to go a little more quiet when they go, leave a homestand. So good spot for Pfaadt to take advantage of. I think he pitches really well. I think the Diamondbacks handle this one pretty easy. I think Cal Quantrill's in for a rough outing. This is the Diamondbacks team that's just really hitting, man. So give me that offense here. I think they get this one done. Hey guys, I just want to give a quick reminder that new users can bet $5 at FanDuel on any of the bets in this video and win $150 in bonus bets if the bet wins. Now let's get back to the bets. Our next one, the Pittsburgh Pirates taking on the San Diego Padres. Marcos Gonzalez versus Joe Musgrove. I mean, for me here, this is a goofy one for me. So, Marcos Gonzalez, I think he gets touched up, obviously. Joe Musgrove is a guy who really hasn't been good this season. This will be his first start back from injury. And I like the over. I like the Padres to win, but I think I like the over more. I really struggle this game because they don't have any lines out yet, so I'm really unsure where to go. I think this total is going to be around like an 8.5. And if that's where it is, I do like the over here. Like I said, I like runs. I think Musgrove is going to struggle. This is the Pirates team who, while they've been inconsistent, the bats, they do have some lefties who can do some damage. I think that's what gets to Musgrove here ultimately. And then, like I said, Marcos Gonzalez, this guy, he's serving up BP. Not like Padres put up a ton of runs on him. They might even cover the total on their own. But give me the over here. The last one on our slate, and probably the best game of the night, is the Atlanta Braves taking on the Giants. Chris Sale versus Blake Snell. Total sitting at 6.5. I like the Braves on the money line here. It's games that I pick them. And Blake Snell, I think he pitches relatively well, don't get me wrong. But I can't get past getting Chris Sale out of pick 'em here. And this Giants team, not nearly as good an offense, as the Braves. Braves are coming off of Coors, which I usually do like to fade, so I will say that. Definitely not my favorite spot to back their bats. But I think in a low-scoring game, I like Chris Sale to get it done. Like I said, I think this thing could be like a 2-1 final score. I really do. They're in a very, pitcher-friendly park. And ultimately, I think it's, like I said, I think that the under's in play, but 6.5 is terrifying. So I will roll with the Braves on the money line here. I think Chris Sale spins a gem, gets us a win here. That does conclude the slate, though. If you guys do me a favor, drop a like, drop a comment. Let me know what you guys are playing. Before I hop off, I'll give you my top three. So number one, we're going to go with the Braves on the money line. Absolutely love that spot. Number two, the Red Sox on the money line. And number three, the over in the Cardinals-Reds game. As always, you can get all my official plays at goldboys.com. If you have a gambling problem, tell 100 Gambler. Thank you, guys.